city of Philadelphia today welcomes back one of its favorite sons. The 8 years Charles Barkley spent with the Sixers are ones that will never be forgotten. And though this unpredictable superstar has moved on to Phoenix, he's still the same talented, brash, and colorful Sir Charles. Someone who's not afraid to display his outgoing style at any time. And so today, Sir Charles returns to Philadelphia. And one thing's for sure, we can expect the unexpected. From the Spectrum, it's the Phoenix Suns versus the Philadelphia 76ers. For the Suns, Barkley and Cedric Ceballos are the forwards. Mark West is the center. And Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson are the guards. Starting for the Sixers in the front court are Clarence Weatherspoon and Tim Perry, while Andrew Lang is in the middle, and Jeff Hornacek and Hersey Hawkins make up the backcourt. The rookie head coach for the Phoenix Suns is Paul Westphal, and Fred Carter pilots the Philadelphia 76ers. In early first quarter action, Dan Marley finds the opening in the Sixers defense and goes to the hoop for the layup. Ceballos shows quick hands as he steals the ball from Hawkins and goes the length of the floor for the great reverse jam. Hawkins would hold onto the ball this time and go to the hoop for the layup and draw the foul from West as Philly stayed close. Hawkins steals the inbound pass and sets up Hornacek for the three-pointer in the middle. The first quarter score was 17-16 Phoenix. Johnson on the break. Finds Barkley and Sir Charles rockets to the hoop for the slam. KJ would beat the defense with a spin. That finds Ceballos on the baseline where he'd finish with a pretty reverse. This time, KJ can't find anyone to dish to. So he used the Barkley pick and scored off glass. KJ would dish to Barkley in transition. And Charles gives it up to Marley, who scores on the easy layup. And the Suns led 35-20 after one. In the second, Hornacek's tightly guarded, but still hits the tough J and gets the foul. Frank Johnson gets the ball to Ainge, free in the lane. And Danny powers it in for the layup off the glass. Johnny Dawkins off the bench. Dishes to Weatherspoon, who takes the finger roll strong to the hoop. Dawkins also contributes with a three. That makes the score 48-34 Phoenix in the middle of the second. Weatherspoon down low, spots Perry all alone, and he cuts in with a swooping move to the basket for two. Ainge drives a lane, stops, spins away, and scores on the fadeaway jumper. KJ penetrates, finds Marley in transition, who completes the strong move for the layup. Hawkins up high, finds Lang all alone on the baseline. And the big man knocks down an 18-footer. And as they go into the locker room, at halftime, it's the Phoenix Suns 60 and the Philadelphia 76ers 54. Both clubs shot well in the first half, though Phoenix has the clear edge due to their strong inside play. The Suns also controlled the boards as they out-rebounded the Sixers 24-16, with Ceballos grabbing 7 boards. And now, let's join Marv Albert and Mike Fratello for the call of the second half.
And we're set for the start of play in the third quarter. Phoenix with a 60-54 lead. Barkley leading the Suns with 13, Ceballos 12, Kevin Johnson with 11. The rookie Weatherspoon has 14, Hawkins with 14 points. Clarence Weatherspoon bouncing back from the 5 of 20 shooting against Cleveland on Friday night with 6 for 11 for his 14 points. It is Phoenix ball as we start the third quarter. Kevin Johnson in the backcourt. along with Dan Barley, Charles Barkley, Mark West, Cedric Ceballos on the front line. Barkley playing with 3 fouls, goes to the fadeaway, and Hawkins with the rebound.
There's big man challenging Barkley, and I'm talking about Lang. Andrew Lang was on defense, challenges the jump shot, makes Barkley fade a little bit. So right there, it changed the shot and forced Charles to do something he didn't want to do. Bigger man on small man.
Weatherspoon, guarded by West.
And it was the same thing happening. Big man, West, guarding Weatherspoon, changes his shot.
Hawkins with the intercept. Hornacek and Hawkins at the guards. Weatherspoon up front with Perry and Lang. It will be Sixer ball.
Charles tries to start the fast break with the long outlet pass, but not real excited with that one. My fault.
Philadelphia 76ers at 21-45. They've dropped their last 2, 8 of their last 9. And they have been held under 90 points in 4 of the last 5 games. 54 is a good half for the Sixers. Barkley set the pick and roll. Barkley off a double team, gave it up. Curry with the rebound. Hornacek pass on the 3.
Little defensive adjustment at halftime for the Phoenix Suns. West guarding Weatherspoon on a regular basis now, rather than Charles Barkley in the first half. As you mentioned, Weatherspoon was 6'11" from the floor. They got a big guy on him now.
It is down to a 4-point Phoenix lead, and the one-time Phoenix Sun, Andrew Lang, connected on his second field goal. He has 4 points. 2 minutes in, third quarter. Barkley wide open, give him the 3. He hit one earlier. It leads to this, the fast break, and Hawkins puts it away to bring the Sixers within 2.
There's one of the things we had talked about during the first half. Fred Carter instructed his team, because Phoenix shoots so many threes, that person basically is not a rebounder for Phoenix. So take off, run down the floor, we'll fly you on that, see if we get an easy layup. They got one.
Shot clock at 4. Marley. Yes. And Marley from downtown. He has 12 points. The Suns 63. The Sixers 58. Hawkins tried to throw.
I think Danny Ainge made a good point about the three-pointers and why they've been slipping the shooting percentage for Phoenix during the second half of the season. Early, everybody was double-teaming Barkley, doubling down low on West. They had wide-open three-point opportunities. Now people are staying at home more, trying to play straight up. The opportunities aren't as clean, but they're still trying to get the same number up, not shooting as high a percentage.
Aggressive rebound by Lang, fouled by Marley. That's the third committed by Marley.
Marley with the dribble penetration seems to have a clear look at the basket. When you get those shot blockers like Lang coming up to challenge, it affects it. And Philadelphia has blocked the most shots in the NBA coming into this game. You got Lang who can block them, and then there's Manute Bol, of course.
They're not getting the playing time in recent games since the departure of Doug Moe. Did play briefly at the end of the first half. Here's Johnson. And Jack Madden says knocked out of bounds by the Sixers.
The way you want to play Kevin Johnson early in the game is to back off as he comes at you, see if he's making his pull-up jumper. If he starts making it, you have to tighten up, and then the problem is he goes around you. Right now, he's struggling shooting the jump shot.
And the Suns struggling here at the start of the third quarter. They've hit only 1 out of 7 from the field. Weatherspoon posting up on West, rejected. Weatherspoon on the follow. Back up the Suns. Marley for Ceballos, and he's fouled.
Well, back at the other end of the floor, you see the effect of the change that the Suns made at halftime of putting West on Weatherspoon. One shot is blocked, the next shot is changed. So a player who has a terrific first half shooting from the floor, a little bit of defensive adjustment, suddenly it's not as easy, not as comfortable, and then Phoenix gets out and runs.
Foul committed by Perry.
You don't get quite the same look. The first one, the rejection. The second one is changed just thinking about him blocking the first one, and then all of a sudden you're off and fast breaking.
Ceballos hits both. The Suns 65, the 76ers 58. Capacity crowd here at the Spectrum. Only the third sellout of the season. The previous two games against the Chicago Bulls. Here's Hornacek. West with the rebound. Johnson off the dribble creates. Ceballos deflected home. He had a couple of cracks at it, then tried to draw the foul.
The Suns are screaming from the bench that 76ers hit the backboard, and that's why the shot rolled out.
Oh, what a driving ball by Tim Perry. The Phoenix lead is 5.
There's Paul Westphal complaining that, hey, the backboard was hit or they pulled on the net and the backboard was shaking. Therefore, when that second shot attempt started to go in, instead it rolled back out.
Johnson tried to go behind the back. Phoenix 0 for its last 6 shot attempts. 1 for 10 here in the third. Ceballos. Nice whip pass by Marley.
Here's what the coach was talking about a second ago when he felt a basket should have been awarded on the offensive basket interference, whether it's the rim or whether it's the net. You may not grab it and pull it down and shake that backboard if the ball is up in the cylinder.
6:50 remaining in the third quarter. Sixers with the ball down by 7. Again, the post up by Weatherspoon. He's turned back. Shot clock at 2. Barkley with the steal. But it's waved off.
The coaches are complaining from Phoenix that there was 1 second left on the 24-second clock and that Charles then had control of the dribble. In the lower left-hand corner, you see the 24-second clock. Now, if Charles has control of this, there's the steal, no control yet. If it goes to 0 before he has control, is there control or is it at 0? That's a tough call right there.
This is the second time the Suns have complained about this type of situation. We'll be right back.
Across the universe, people are asking, what fiend would steal Air Jordans?
Oh, goody! More Air Jordans for me!
Pebble Beach.
This is no way for a Pamper superstar to travel.
What the shoes?
And they're all mine.
Give me those Air Jordans.
No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, no. Take these or else.
The squirrel team.
Saved by a clever edit. Things seem bleak for our hero. Wait, a giant pencil with an equally giant eraser. I smell trouble. I smell popcorn.
Is that better popcorn?
Get it while it's hot.
Get it while it's better.
Our heroes have made the world safe for truth, justice.
And Mike's royalty checks from Nike.
That's all, folks.
That's my client's line. It says so in my deal.
Jeez, what a pig.
Let's go back a moment ago to the questionable call. Was the rim or net pull? Did it shake the backboard on the shot attempt? Everybody's going, there's the net grabbed by Lang, and now the ball, as it continues on, goes in and comes back out. The backboard stanchion is shaking. The coaches from Phoenix had a very good point.
It has been a poor shooting third quarter for both teams. Barkley, difficult shot. Phoenix is now 2 of 12 from the field in this third quarter. You see the 18% shooting. Philadelphia only 27%. To be precise, 3 of 11 from the floor. Perry, but he got away with that move just a moment ago and was able to score, but this time way off, and a foul has been called. It's a loose ball foul on the 76ers.
76ers are trapping all double teams that involve Jeff Hornacek in a pick-and-roll situation. They're making him, Hornacek, pass the ball to the man who has set the screen, and that time a good rotation prevented Perry from getting to the front of the rim for the score.
Andrew Lang picked up his third, 3 apiece on Lang, Perry, and Dawkins. Barkley has 3. Kevin Johnson is 5 of 7 for 13 points. Phoenix leads by 9.
That's when Kevin Johnson becomes almost impossible to play. When he's making that 17, 18-foot jump shot to go along with his ability to get to the basket, he's a tough one to guard.
Brett Carter very upset about that turnover. slamming the press table in front of him. Get the idea that Fred is out there as beautiful backdoor feed was handled by Ceballos. Looks like Fred is defending. Looks like he's playing.
He wants a little bit of the action. That's about the 5th wide open pass under the basket for Phoenix against Philly's defense.
5:29 remaining in the third. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. The return of Charles Barkley, although he has had a low-key game. 13 points. 5 of 13 for the field, only 4 rebounds, 3 personal fouls, hit with a technical foul in the first half. The Suns by 11. They've led by as many as 15. Armin Gilliam is back for the 76ers. Weatherspoon from Gilliam, and he was fouled. So Clarence Weatherspoon, who had missed his last 7 shots after that good run earlier, will go to the line to shoot a pair. West called for the foul.
One of the things that I'm sure Fred Carter is searching for right now is some other player to step up and put some points on the board for the 76ers. Who brings Armin Gilliam into the game, a low-post scorer, someone who can draw a double team. And if he does command the double team, that should open up shots for Hornacek and Percy Hawkins.
Clarence Weatherspoon, only 2 out of 6. 3 for 7 from the line. Suns 71 and the Sixers 61. Other game going in the NBA. In the third quarter, Portland and Charlotte are tied at 75. The Trailblazers trying to make it 4 straight wins. Charlotte has lost 3 in a row. Marley dumps it off. Ceballos could not convert. Nice setup from Marley. 3 on 2. Here's Gilliam serving up a facial to his good friend Charles Barkley.
Well, Charles was teeing it up. He wanted to go for the block, and the little change to the middle of the floor at the end by Gilliam took Barkley out of his route to block it. After he slammed it down, he just stared for a second at Charles looked to say, I'm not forgetting the comments on the pass.
Crowd still responding. Barkley for 3, and Charles with an answer. That's his second from downtown. The Suns 74, the Sixers 63.
Good time to go right back to Armin Gilliam in a post-up situation because Barkley's playing him right now. See if he can get off.
And Barkley playing with 3 fouls. Here's Gilliam. Oh, you know, he wanted the shot. Some help from Marley, who got a piece of it.
Back into the transition. The ball is pitched ahead to Gilliam, not known for his ability, but then when he comes back to the middle, and I meant his ability to put it on the floor, he throws it down, he stops for a second afterwards and just stares at Charles.
Shot clock at 5. Weatherspoon. The Prince Weatherspoon brings Philadelphia within 9 points. Weatherspoon, high man for the Sixers, has 17. Hawkins with 16. Barkley setting the screen. Johnson. And it's tipped home by Ceballos.
There's the other part of the Kevin Johnson package. Before you saw the jumper, that time the drive to the basket, which draws so much attention that his teammates are open on the offensive boards.
Weatherspoon felt there was contact, no foul called. Instead, the foul against the Sixers. John Hornacek, his second. And 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Phoenix up by 11 through the hands of Barkley.
Perfect backdoor pass that time by Marley, perhaps a little bit hard. Charles, who was being fronted or top-sided by the defensive player, just basically reversed, went backdoor. Marley fired it a little hard to handle while you're coming out of that reverse spin.
I mentioned the tough stretch of games for the Sixers as of late as Gilliam again puts the move on Barkley. Sixers losing Friday to Cleveland. They played Chicago earlier in the week. Tuesday they are at New Jersey. Wednesday at Boston. Celtics going well. They've won 6 in a row. Ceballos. Well, he has had an excellent game. 22 for Cedric Ceballos. He's connected on 8 out of 16. The Suns by 13 points.
You like having that type of reserve that comes in for your starting small forward and has 22 points already here in the third quarter.
And And the one-time Phoenix Sun, Jeff Hornacek, now with 10. Suns by 11. Johnson set up pass knocked away. And last touch by the Sixers.
The Sixers right now are taking away the screen from Kevin Johnson. They're not letting him come to the big man who's setting the screen. They're forcing him to go baseline, then trying to get their hand up in the passing lane to take away the roll from the big man going to the basket.
Crowd reacting. They felt that Hornacek was pushed, and it allowed Marley to take the three-point shot. And Marley now 3 of 3 from downtown. The Suns by 14. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the third. Gilliam. Hornacek off the board. Here's Barkley with the ball fake. Strong move by Charles, who has 18. Newton Cole is getting set to check in. Played 1 minute right at the end of the first half. That has been it.
Bringing Manute in can change the tempo of the basketball game as Lang makes a nice backdoor cut, but Barkley with the strip.
And here's Barkley all the way. 85-67 Phoenix. 20 points for Barkley as the Suns busted open.
I was mentioning by bringing Manute Boulder, what Fred Carter's trying to do is change the complexion and again get one of those spurts where perhaps Manute blocks 3 or 4 shots quickly. Sixers can get out and run, perhaps knock out a few of the three-point shots. When Lang thinks he's going up, Barkley sticks a hand in, gets the strip, and then get out of his way when he gets a full head of steam. No one stops the basketball. You give Charles a clear path to the basket. He enjoys it.
Now, do you think it's Fred Carter's philosophy to go to option number 2, Manute shooting from three-point range? Somehow, I don't see that coming into effect.
I don't think so.
Sixers, after the good shooting in the second quarter, have gone cold here in the third. Here's Johnson. 13-2 run by the Suns. They have their biggest lead of the game, a 20-point margin.
Because they have so many scorers, because they can shoot the three, they run in transition so well. Phoenix, probably as well as anyone in this league, can put together those big spurts, the big runs, and suddenly you look up and it looks like the game could be over for your team.
Another opportunity for Hornacek. He's passing this one up. Sixers have missed their last 5 attempts, 8 of the last 9. Time running down in the third, and Gilliam is fouled.
The reason Hornacek, as you mentioned, passed up that last three-point opportunity, he looked up, saw the 24-second clock was down around 18 to finish out the quarter, so he threw it back outside to try and run it down for the last shot of the quarter.
Danny Ainge is back. Armin Gilliam to the line.
Now, I know there are those who will tell you, why would you pass it back out for the last shot of the quarter when you're down 20 points? You need to get as many shots up as you can to try and make some to get back into a basketball game. Running it down for the last shot of the quarter, you're just using more time up in your effort to bounce back.
Tim Perry for Newt Bowl. That substitution not well received by the Philadelphia crowd. The Sixers, a horrendous 5 for 28 from the field in this third quarter. And the foul is called with 2 seconds remaining. Foul on Dawkins, his 4th.
76ers had a foul to give before Phoenix would be in the bonus, so they took advantage of it there. Now with 2 seconds remaining, they feel they'll have a better chance of stopping any scoring opportunities.
Ainge was out of bounds. He stepped out. Sixers get it back with 5/10 of a second remaining here in the third.
Well, Danny Ainge thought that Kevin Johnson was just going to get it up there quickly with 2 seconds remaining. KJ felt he had enough time to throw it back to the guy who passed it in.
That's the end of the third. The Suns 87, the Sixers 68. Charles Barkley overall 8 for 16 for 20 points. We'll be back after these messages. Manute Bol, native of the Sudan. Man whose name means special blessing. Not sure which stories to believe about Manute, who does have a tremendous sense of revisionist history when it comes to himself.
The steal by Johnny Dawkins on the cross-court attempt that time. So one transition opportunity goes right back to another. Sixers just can't capitalize and convert at the end of their fast breaks the same way that the Suns do.
Andrew Lang, Clarence Weatherspoon come on for Ron Anderson and Manute Bol. So a cameo for Manute. And Oliver Miller will check in.
You know, going back to that game where he made 6 out of 12 three-point attempts, he mentioned to us yesterday that he actually had missed the first 2. He shot 2 air balls in three-point attempts. His teammates encouraged him to continue shooting.
And Dawkins drills a three-pointer. Suns 96, 76ers 81. Kevin Johnson and Danny Ainge at the guards. Oliver Miller up front, along with Charles Barkley and Cedric Ceballos. Suns looking for some more spacing, and now Barkley puts it on the floor against Lang. Ceballos went behind the back, but Miller could not hit. Dawkins setting up against Johnson. Hornacek, he's been off. Back come the Suns. 3-on-2 develops. Ainge. And he was fouled.
It was like having a leading, pulling tackle out in front of you. Kevin Johnson just waited for Charles Barkley to clear the path to the basket. Then he crossed it across the floor to Ainge, who just followed his big blocker right to the rim.
Foul committed by Lang. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the game. Good play by Hornacek. Last touch by Ainge. Timeout is called. The Suns 96, the Sixers 81. Charles Barkley, in his return to the Spectrum, has come on in the second half. He now has 27 points, along with 7 rebounds. Cedric Ceballos with 24, plus 14 rebounds. The Suns 96 and the Sixers 81. 6:45 remaining in the game. Weatherspoon drawing the double team. Finds Hornacek. That's a three-pointer for Jeff Hornacek. His shooting has been off. He's only 6 for 16. His second from downtown this afternoon.
In their pre-game preparation, the Suns were going to pay special attention to Jeff Hornacek, and it obviously has paid off in his shooting percentage.
Miller was left wide open, and the lane was closed by Weatherspoon. Shot clock at 3. Down at 2. Ainge had to force it. Rebounded by Gilliam. Dawkins and Hornacek in the backcourt. Lang had to save that pass. Weatherspoon. Miller got a piece of it. Here's Gilliam. He's called for a travel.
Actually, no one underneath to intimidate, block, or change your shot. So on that pump fake, you want to go strong. Oliver Miller, not what you would really call a shot blocker, but he gets a piece of the first one. And now Gilliam shows it, fears the fact that Miller is there, and you see the travel take place.
Sixers have picked it up here in the fourth quarter after a 14-point third. And they are now down by only 12. Suns have led by as many as 22. Dawkins! Oh, he's been on fire. Johnny Dawkins has hit 7 of 9 from the field.
I think you see some very extra special effort out here this afternoon by Johnny Dawkins, because some of his statements that he made yesterday, including himself, who pointed at a team who gives up at times, and a team who does not give the necessary effort all the time, despite what the record is. So I think he's out here to show by his leadership, by example, what he's talking about to his teammates.
Several other teammates have also made mention of the fact that at times the Sixers have not given the kind of effort that the coaches would have liked.
And what you talk about is sustained effort over 48 minutes, not 20 minutes, not 28, not 32 minutes, but over 48 minutes, giving the effort and execution necessary to win.
Phoenix with an 11-point lead. Barkley has 28. Has been a love fest for Charles here today. Well received by the fans here in Philadelphia. Dawkins now played by Frank, run by Kevin Johnson, and put a beautiful move on. Johnny Dawkins with 19, and it leads to a Phoenix timeout. 4:54 remaining in the game, and the Suns now lead 97 to 88. It's a 20-second timeout taken by Paul Westphal.
Johnny Dawkins accepting the challenge, knowing he's playing against an outstanding point guard in Kevin Johnson, uses the left to right crossover dribble, and then the finish at the end. Asserting himself, doing it with his leadership out on the floor. Remember, this was the starting point guard for 6 seasons for the Philadelphia 76ers, so he's got a lot of pride.
Johnny Dawkins, in his 7th year, last year made it back from the knee surgery. He's turning it from the 2 for 9 he had Friday night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Dawkins now 8 out of 10 from the field for his 19 points. Suns spreading it out. Kevin Johnson off the step and drew the foul.
What Paul Westphal did was he gave Kevin Johnson an opportunity for a little payback. Isolate one-on-one KJ against Dawkins, flatten the rest of the people out along the baseline, and let Kevin go right back at the man who has been burning him at the other end of the floor.
Foul on Lang, his 5th. Sixers have outscored the Suns 20 to 10 here in the 4th. Charles Barkley with 8 of those Suns points. Phoenix 99, Philadelphia 88.
See if Philly comes right back with that same pick and roll situation where Dawkins has the opportunity to go against Kevin Johnson. Now down the low post, one-on-one against Barkley, and the travel takes place. What Charles has done is a great job of, once Gilliam catches the ball, Charles is breaking contact, backing off him. Armand thinks there's going to be a lot of bumping and shoving. See Charles back away, there's no contact there with the body, and as a result, he's losing his balance and taking those tiny steps.
Charles certainly very familiar with the moves of Armand Gilliam from many practice sessions together. That's the 2nd time that Armand has traveled here in the 4th quarter.
Charles knows that Armand wants to send a little message. He wants to become very physical with Charles, so he tends to dip that shoulder or try to use a little extra force. Charles avoiding the contact with the body and throwing him off balance.
Marley misfired from 3-point range. Lang finally gets the handle. Then you want dribbling with the basketball. We're just under 4 minutes remaining in the game. Phoenix by 11. Hornacek for 3.
And you can see he doesn't need a whole lot of room to get that shot off. That's why the Suns have been double teaming and trapping him every time he comes off of a pick and roll or high screen situation.
Sixers hanging in, making a run here in the 4th quarter. Hornacek is at 3 out of 4 from downtown. Meanwhile, Phoenix playing the clock. Marley for the 3-point attack. Rebounded by Lang.
That whole thing was designed to set up the 3. He had Ainge on the right side, Morley on the left side. A 1-4 set. Anybody to double team would lead to an open 3-pointer.
Dawkins for 3. Rebound Lang. Everybody stopped. They were anticipating a call. The 76ers move within 6. 3:02. remaining in the fourth quarter. Phoenix Suns, led by as many as 22, appear to be on the way to a clear-cut blowout, but the Sixers come roaring back in this fourth quarter. They've outscored the Suns 25-12 in the fourth. Suns only 3 of 13 from the field. They've missed their last 6 shots.
Phoenix actually inbounded the ball, started to dribble it up one dribble. They stopped the game again. 76ers only had 4 guys on the floor. Andrew Lang was trying to get a little rosin on his hand. Wasn't out there yet.
Barkley, yes, and it counts. Big bucket for Charles Barkley, who will go to the line. Barkley now with 30 points.
The decision you have to make when he gets it down low, Charles Barkley, do you come and double team immediately or do you wait? This time, Lang goes for the steal. There's no one there in time on the rotation. Weatherspoon a step late.
Weatherspoon trying to help out, call for his second. So Barkley with 11 of his 31 points in the fourth quarter. The Suns 102. The Sixers 93.
Phoenix has so many go-to guys that when it gets to a critical point, a 6-point game, you take a timeout, you pick out which guy you want to go to, and they seem to be able to produce in those big situations.
Weatherspoon will go to the line where he has struggled, only 3 of 7 from the line. Ceballos called for the foul.
And Paul Westphal, one of the coaches who sits for the majority of the game as opposed to coaches who run up and down the sidelines, but there are reasons for that. One in particular, his knees. He has very severe pain in his legs, okay, and he feels that, hey, for me it's better to just sit down during the game than me running up and down.
Providing a more calmer, at least appearance.
Well, when you have the best record in the NBA, that helps as well.
As the Phoenix Suns at 51 and 15, first team to win 50 games. This is the best start in Phoenix Suns franchise history. Now 2:25 remaining of the game. Suns playing the clock here down the stretch. 3 on the 24, and Barkley is now on fire. Charles has 33 points.
And all they did was use up 21 seconds off the 24-second clock before they got the shot they wanted.
Kevin Johnson hustles it down as we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the game.
Now, unless it's a wide open shot, I would think you'd see him once again take time off the game clock and shot clock.
Johnson rejected by Lang, but Ceballos is there. Dawkins and the numbers. Here's Lang. 104-96 Phoenix. So the 76ers with a good run here in this fourth quarter with Charles Barkley with big points down the stretch. And he has scored 13 of his 33 in the fourth. Johnson again setting it up. Ceballos, 26 for Cedric Ceballos. And the Suns lead by 10.
It seems so easy for Ceballos because so many of his baskets come off the moves of other players on the team.
Another nice move by Dawkins, 21 points for Johnny Dawkins.
You've got to worry about Ainge with the three-point shot, Marley with the three-point shot, KJ with the dribble penetration, Barkley posted up down low, and then Ceballos just runs around and keeps building up points the entire game.
Down to 1 minute remaining of the game. Dawkins with a piece of it. Shot clock at 4. Down to 2. Barkley is fouled. Fouled by Lang. And he is fouled out.
And that was by design, on purpose. Charles raising the ball up, understanding the shot clock is down to about 2 seconds, and then just is willing to absorb the contact of the rotating defensive player.
Well, the one-time Phoenix Sun, Andrew Lang, fouls out, 8 points, 10 rebounds. Replaced by Tim Perry. Barkley is 4 out of 5 from the line. What is so remarkable about this man is, look out, for cameo for national television. Well received by Charles. Fine move. Not all that athletes react in the same manner as Charles Barkley just did.
Yeah, if you catch somebody coming out of the corner of your eye, you don't realize what's happening.
Right.
You may try to defend yourself.
Charles kind of liked the affection that was.
It was the warm hug at the end. That was
yes. Suns lead 107 to 98 as you look at the quarter-by-quarter production of Charles Barkley.
Would you say that Charles is to the point now, a la Michael Jordan, where he can pick and choose the spots where he feels he has to turn it on and carry the team?
Yes, no question. And as you mentioned, in this case with this club, there are so many guys who can score, but I would think that he is still the main man. What's most remarkable about Charles, who has led the league in rebounding and has been right among the leaders as Kevin Johnson is able to hit, is that Charles is maybe 6'4½", although he is listed at 6'5", 6'6". Foul on Ceballos.
And that foul taken on purpose so that Paul Westphal will get the opportunity to substitute and let the man have his due here in his former city.
Standing ovation.
Class act by the Suns and Paul Westphal.
So Charles Barkley turning it on in the second half. Finishes with 35 points on 13 for 22 for the field. 15 of the 35 here in the fourth, as Philadelphia was in the midst of a run. Down to 10 seconds left in the game. And here is Perry. Chant of MVP from the crowd. Gilliam puts it down. Now there's a nice touch. The Philadelphia crowd chanting MVP in honor of the one-time 76er Charles Barkley. So Barkley and the Suns defeat the Sixers 110 to 100.
Now for the NBA postgame show. With the win, the Phoenix Suns have solidified their hold on the division and the best record in the NBA. Seattle's also clinched a playoff spot, while Portland has welcomed back Dream Teamer Clyde Drexler from the disabled list. The Lakers and Clippers also appear to have their playoff spots assured. Sam Perkins and the Sonics host a division rival, the LA Clippers, at the Coliseum. And in early action, it was Gary Payton with a spin move and the kicks off the glass for two. Mark Jackson went to Lloyd Vaught, and Vaught dished back to Jacks, open for the three-pointer. The Sonics on the run, and Payton finds Sean Kemp, who slams Seattle to a 58-46 halftime lead. LA would have a chance to tie late in the fourth, but Danny Manning loses the ball, and Nate McMillan would come up with it, and the Sonics would give everyone reason to dance as they pulled out the close 112-108 victory over the Clippers. In the Midwest Division, the Rockets remain in the top spot, but the Spurs are only a game behind, and the Jazz only 4 back. The Denver Nuggets continue to be strong at home, but weak on the road, while Chuck Person has been on fire lately for the Wolves, hitting 8 threes in one game. David Robinson's Spurs would host the Utah Jazz in a battle for the second spot in the Midwest. And John Stockton would get things going early as he flies to the goal for the layup. J.R. Reed would handle 7'4" Mark Eaton with this spin and the fadeaway jumper. Karl Malone would dish to Stockton. Wide open for the three as the Jazz poured in the point. The Admiral would give it up to Antoine Carr, who scores off the layup, giving David one of his 10 assists. Robinson has the ball stripped by Malone, and Stockton leads the Dream break as the mailman sends it home. Sean Elliott would use the baseline and slip to the hoop for the slam. The Spurs would have a chance to tie it at the end, but Malone strips Robinson again, and the Jazz and Jerry Sloan walk off with a big 102-98 road win. In the Atlantic, the loss drops the Sixers further out of the playoff picture, while the Knicks fight for best record in the conference. Boston recently overtook the Nets, who've lost shooting sensation Drazen Petrovic to a knee injury, while Miami creeps closer to a playoff spot. Bullets head coach Wes Unseld brought his team to Hartford to face the scorching Celtics. And in the first, Kevin Gamble misses on the three, gets the steal, and misses again on the layup. But Sherman Douglas tips it in. Speedy Michael Adams goes coast to coast and scores on the running kiss off the glass. Larry Stewart spots Charles Jones open on the baseline, and CJ rams it home as the Bullets held the lead. Joe Klein gets the ball off the transition, then hits the trailer Douglas, who scores on the layup. Chapman puts the Bullets up with a tough three near the end of the fourth period. But their celebration was premature, as Sherman Douglas spots a wide-open D. Brown on the baseline, and he strokes the game-winning jumper as the Celtics win their 7th in a row, 114 to 113 over the Bullets. The Magic welcomed back Scott Skiles after a knee injury as Orlando hosted the New Jersey Nets. And in the first, Ramil Robinson comes up with a steal and passes ahead to Chucky Brown, who sets up Derek Coleman for the slam. Nick Anderson misses on the jumper, but the Shaq's around to slam it home. Skiles gets the clear out on the right and flips it in for a shot that even he's surprised by. Skiles now sets up his favorite target, and the Shaq slams through the alley-oop. The underman Nets would continue to battle as Robinson dishes to Raphael Addison for the finger roll. But Skiles to Tolbert to Shaq is a deadly combo indeed as the Magic grab an important 98-84 win over the New Jersey Nets. In the Central Division, the Bulls hang on to a one-game lead for the best conference record and have a 5-game gap over the stumbling Cavs. Charlotte's hit a dry spell recently, and the Pacers struggle to stay in the playoff picture, while Detroit looks like they'll be sitting out the postseason. Head coach Bob Weiss's Hawks won't be missing the playoffs this year as Atlanta hosted the Miami Heat and went to work on them early. As Mookie Blaylock leads the break and finds Stacey Augmon on the baseline for the slam. Heat guard Steve Smith would find the opening in the defense and score on the tough layup to keep Miami close. Mookie would miss on the three, and the Heat thought they had the rebound. But it's Dominique who ends up with a dunk. Keith Askins would spin to the hoop and score on the prayer off the glass. Miami would try the full court press on the Hawks. But Atlanta would break it and give Dominique a slam and 2 more of his game-high 38 points. Meek would then share the wealth as he found Mookie, who dishes to Adam Keefe for the slam. And excuse me, but these guys don't look too unhappy after being defeated soundly by the Hawks 118 to 106. Hey, you don't mind if we rewind?
First, let me clear this frog from my throat. Saturday. No, Karl Malone is not looking for a seat. He's heading back to the court. The mail must go through. John Stockton sends it in. The mailman adds the postage. Sunday, Gary Payton goes for a drink, but man, is that some powerful water. Speaking of water, you've heard of synchronized swimming. Payton gets synchronized defense from Scott Brooks. Remember our lame Elvis last week who tried to play hoop? Well, he's feeling better now and trying his hand at bowling. He had to rent those special blue suede shoes. Leave the building, Elvis. Tuesday, Christian Laettner guards his dream teammate Michael Jordan, and MJ takes the rookie to school. Laettner dares him to shoot. What a mistake that was. Jordan gets a few laughs and knocks it right down. But Christian comes back and shows Michael his own stuff. Now here's the human highlight film with an Oscar-winning move. He's back. Ricky Henderson's leaving. Ricky, watch your step, babe. Wednesday, Phil Jackson may be the quickest ejection ever. 27 seconds into the game, see ya. In Jersey, a SWAT fest. Bernard King is crowned by Alonzo Mourning. The Hornets take it the other way. Kendall Gill gets the deuce. But with time running down, it goes to Muggsy Bogues. DC says, get that out of here. And the Nets get a big win. Thursday, here's Chuck Person doing his Three Stooges imitation. Check out Robert Pack as he steals it and deals it to Marcus Liberty. And let's kiss this one goodbye.
By Nike.